Good morning and God bless you on this Thursday morning. Today we're going to continue our series on Can You Relate? And we're going to just take a look at Jacob. Now, if you remember right, Isaac and Rebekah got married. They loved each other. And eventually Rebekah was finally able to conceive and bear and give birth to twin boys. And one of the accounts in Genesis chapter 25 is that while the twins were in her womb, they were wrestling with each other and causing her so much pain and grief that she actually cried out to the Lord to ask what was going on and whether she was even going to live through it. And this is the reply she received from the Lord as she prayed to him. 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples from within you will be separated. One people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger. And so then you have the story of the birth of Jacob and Esau, and of course the way it's told in the story, Esau is born first, but Jacob is clutching his heel even as he's being born. And so Esau's the older, Jacob's the younger. And then as the story goes on, I'd like to read you the first encounter we have of the relationship between these 2 boys. So it describes that Esau is a man of the open country and the land. He loves to be hunting and outdoors, whereas Jacob was content to stay home and be among the tents. It also says that the father Isaac loved Esau, but that Rebekah loved Jacob. You can imagine the family dynamics with that. From Genesis chapter 25, beginning in verse 29. Once when Jacob was cooking some stew, Esau came in from the open country famished. He said to Jacob, "Quick, let me have some of that red stew. I'm famished." That is why he is also called Edom. Jacob replied, "First sell me your birthright." "Look, I am about to die," Esau said. "What good is a birthright to me?" But Jacob said, "Swear to me first." So he swore an oath to him, selling his birthright to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau some of the bread and some lentil stew. He ate and drank and got up and left. So Esau despised his birthright. Now, today and tomorrow, we're going to take a look at these 2 twin brothers. Today, we're going to focus on Jacob. So his mom, when Jacob and Esau were still in her womb, she heard a prophecy about her 2 boys that would be born, 2 nations kind of struggling within her, and that one would be greater than the other, and that the older would serve the younger, which is completely against the ancient customs and practices. But she had that prophecy. And you wonder if that's why as the boys grew up, she favored Jacob, because she knew the word of the Lord that had been spoken to her. And she maybe favored Jacob just because of that. She knew that Esau wasn't the one to get the birthright, but that would need to go to Jacob. So as the story goes on, and I think it's a pretty familiar story, Isaac, the father, has grown old. He's blind. He knows that he doesn't have a whole lot of time, so he decides it's time to bless one of his sons and give them the birthright. And Jacob comes in, and with his mom's help, this conspiracy is formed, and they deceive Isaac, and Isaac ends up giving the blessing that he intended to give to Esau. He gives it to Jacob. But in this scene that I read to you, you're introduced to Jacob, and you get the sense of what an opportunist. Here his brother comes in from the open field. His brother's, hungry, tired, and he says, "Oh my goodness, give me some food." And Jacob just seizes the opportunity. "Not until you sell me your birthright." And maybe Jacob was smart enough to realize he knew his brother really well. My brother doesn't care about that. He doesn't want to lead the tribe. He doesn't want to be the one that's going to carry on the family name and heritage and stuff like that. He just wants to do his own thing out there hunting and enjoying the great outdoors. Maybe Jacob sensed or knew that, Or maybe Jacob had been told about the prophecy that was given to his mom. It's kind of one of those things. I have a hard time imagining that Rebekah wouldn't let that slip at some point. Oh, by the way, Jacob, the Lord told me while you were still in my womb that the blessing, the birthright, would go to you. And so here you see something about Jacob, an opportunist. He has perhaps that knowledge in his mind that he is entitled to the birthright. And now here is his first opportunity to try and seize that, what he has been told is rightfully his. Later on, you find out that Jacob is actually more than just an opportunist. When you look at the story of how he and his mom deceived Isaac, his father, you find out he's a liar. He's a manipulator. You find out that he's also, a schemer. He's always working an angle. And as you go through the rest of the story in the book of Genesis regarding Jacob, you find out that he even wrestles with God. And there's that amazing scene right before Jacob has to reconcile with his brother Esau. And of course, he knows that reconciling might mean, that Esau's going to kill him, because that's what Esau threatened to do. That night before that, you have Jacob wrestling with an angel all night. And then the angel changes his name. He said, I'm going to call you Israel from now on, because you have wrestled with God and with men and have prevailed. And that sense in which Jacob is one who really, his whole life, is scheming, plotting, trying to take advantage of every opportunity that comes his way. But he also has people that are against him, that are scheming against him and taking advantage of him. And so his life is struggling against God and other people. So can you relate to Jacob? Is there a part of your life or a time in your life, or even right now, where the way you look at life and the way you look at relationships is focused on what can I get out of them? How can I manipulate this relationship or these circumstances for my own benefit and to enhance my own security? It's sad when I look at my life, to confess that so much of my life and my relationship with other people and the world around me is still, there's that instinct inside that kind of says, so what's in it for me? And certainly the text that we looked at today, Jacob saw this opportunity and that question popped into his head. What's in it for me? Wow, I could get the birthright from my brother. Now tomorrow we'll talk about Esau, and we'll take a look at some of the things and see if we can't relate to him too. But today that's the question as we look at, can you relate to Jacob? God bless you, and we'll talk to you more tomorrow. Amen.